what is the most romantic or the sweetest gesture anyone has done for you or you have done for someone else?
Wow. I would say my now husband, we were at college at that time, and he said, okay, meet me at the train station with your ice skates. And so I did, and we went into New York City, and we saw the lighting of the tree at Rockefeller Center, and we skated and walked all around and just had, and we're not like, everything we've talked about, clearly like cities are not our sort of main place, but it just felt like he just sort of read who I was and what I needed in that moment.
Hey there, and welcome to Impact After Hours, where changemakers sign off from work and log into life. I'm Camila Rentes, CEO and co-founder of Human Group Media, and your host. One thing before we get started, if you like our content, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. It's one of the best ways to support our show. All right, let's get into it. Today, I'm excited to find out what Kate Williams, CEO of 1% for the Planet, is really like off-duty. Only a true daredevil would take on the challenge of leading a coalition of more than 7,000 members across over 100 countries to support the planet. And that's exactly what Kate is. When she isn't directing money to environmental organizations, she's climbing up mountains only to ski down them. Truly, I can't think of a better person to inspire you to both embrace and then save the outdoors. Kate Williams, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Kate, I know you started getting into weightlifting. Do you have any personal stats to share with us, like a record that you have recently in terms of, weights and weightlifting?
I love that you started with that question. I would say the record in air quotes that I'll share is that I started getting into it just about a year ago, and I'm still going strong. So I would say I've passed my 1-year anniversary of identifying as someone who lifts weights and actually becoming that person. So I'm pretty consistent 3 days a week. But I think I'm most proud of not how much I lift, because I'm sure that's definitely not breaking any records, but the fact that I am consistent, and I have been doing it for a year now.
That's awesome. And funny enough, our producers thought that I would also share my workout routine with you, which is virtually non-existent. Since I have a toddler with me who is constantly needing, attention and has all the energy in the world, I am unable to have a routine per se, but I am trying to get back into it. When I used to live in the city in Manhattan, I used to try all the classes. Sadly, I had to shelve that for the time being, but I do want to get back into it. But congratulations.
Thank you. And I would say in the meantime, having a toddler is a form of weightlifting, because I know I felt like I was constantly lifting weights, like picking them up, putting them down, all those things. So celebrate what you are doing.
Thank you, definitely. And he is turning 4 next month, and he is half my size already. So I'm counting the days when I can no longer carry him, because he is going to be much, much bigger than me. Before we get into the fun stuff and ask you the questions about your life off duty, I do want to know if there's one piece of advice that you usually share with people who come up to you about how they can be a part of the solution in terms of saving our planet.
Well, I appreciate you asking that. Yes, there is. And it's this, that I think all of us can very easily feel overwhelmed, and that can lead to paralysis when we consider the big problems in the world and what our little selves can do about it. And that, I get that. And so my advice is pick something and do something, and then do it again the next day or the next week or whatever its particular cycle is. And don't worry about it being too small or being the wrong thing or whatever. Do something, because then you build the energy on that. And it actually ties exactly to that first question, which is, start somewhere, and then you keep doing it. And over time you get stronger and you become part of a community that's also doing it. So pick something, do something, keep doing it, adapt as you learn, and be part of a community as you do that.
For those of you who do not know what 1% for the Planet is, I urge you to go to their website and check it out. But apart from that, I do feel like this episode is going to take us outdoors. When we first met, I felt that energy from you. I felt like I was closer to nature, or maybe like in the next couple of minutes, we'll get there. So I do want to play a lightning round of questions. Kate, are you ready to play?
I am ready.
Would you rather spend a long weekend skiing in the mountains, camping in the woods, or relaxing on the beach?
Probably skiing in the mountains, but with the asterisk that I don't love the downhill skiing. So for me, it would be more snowshoeing or like cross-country skiing. I like the quiet, aerobic, in the woods kind of mountain skiing.
Where do you usually go skiing?
I am so fortunate that usually I can go out my back door or just in our valley where we live.
I'm envious of that. What is your favorite hiking snack? So let's go to hiking this time. What is your favorite thing to snack on? Is it salty? Is it sweet?
Salty, and preferably involving peanuts or peanut butter.
Mm-hmm. Would you rather go rollerblading or ice skating?
Ooh, probably ice skating if there's ice skating to be had, but I do love me some rollerblading. Actually, I'm not ashamed to say. I know it's kind of gone out of fashion or whatever.
I think it's actually coming back. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I love rollerblading, but ice skating, when you can like go skate on a lake, absolutely amazing. Love that.
I feel like you are a good skater. Am I wrong about that?
I'm good in the sense that like my brothers played hockey. I grew up in a place where I could skate. I'm not good in the sense that I never played a sport or like was a figure skater, but I can definitely like skate and feel comfortable doing it.
Awesome. What was the last thing you took a picture of?
The to-do list that our house sitter had left behind at our house while I was traveling. So that's literally the last picture. But then the more fun last picture that I took was at an event I just attended this week of a really interesting slide with some data about multicultural consumers.
Okay. There's the variety right there. What's one city or country you've been to that you'd want to visit again if time and or money wasn't an issue?
Amsterdam. I love that city. I like visiting it in the colder months. They have a great sauna culture and just there's something about it. Not the like heart of the city kind of super touristy area, but there's an area in the city called the Eastern Docklands. I just love that.
Is there a place that you haven't been that's kind of on your bucket list?
I would love to spend more time in both Swedish and Norwegian cities. I've like briefly been to Oslo and Bergen, maybe passed through Stockholm, but I'd love to spend more time in all those cities and Trondheim up north.
What about it do you want to see? What about those places?
A couple things. I mean, my family is originally from Sweden and Norway, so I just feel a connection to that area. I also really, really like the Scandinavian countries just at a kind of deep cultural level. And don't feel like I've spent a whole lot of time there. I spent a fair bit of time in Copenhagen and really like Copenhagen a lot. That would be the other one that would maybe edge out Amsterdam potentially. But would just like to learn more about those places, those people, that culture, and kind of understand my connection.
What are 3 words that would best describe your younger self and why?
One would be a watcher. I grew up as the youngest of 2 older brothers and like ultimately actually 3 older brothers. We kind of semi-adopted a friend of one of my brothers, and we were very close in age. So there was like, I mean, you have your almost 4-year-old, like when I was born, my oldest brother wasn't even 3 yet. So like now that I'm a parent, I imagine that I'm like, oh my gosh, how was I not like forgotten on a roadside or something like that in all the craziness? My parents were awesome, so of course they wouldn't forget me. But my mom has told me that there's always so much going on, and I just kind of took it all in. And I would say that has remained true for me. So a watcher, asker. That's not normally how I'd say it, but to get it into one word. But I really, I'm just curious about people, and I really enjoy being in contexts where I can sort of ask the next question. And if I'm chatting with someone and have curiosity, just to like ask that question. And so I am an asker of questions. So watcher, asker, and connector. I really get energy and, like the exchange of energy when I'm like really connecting with people, which doesn't mean I like or feel like I get energy from sort of superficial networking situations. Although I try to sort of make them not superficial by asking the next question. But, it's really, if I can, even if I'm at a party with 100 people, if I can have 3 really, really good conversations, I love that.
I feel the same way. And frankly, on the podcast so far, I feel like connectors, the power of connecting has come up. And I feel like even in our future conversations with our other guests, I feel like in social impact or in the work that we do, it is vital, if not one of the most important skills. It's a big field, but it's also small. I don't know if you have the same experience, Kate, like a person that you just met or you're trying to connect with, there's some type of, degree of connection somewhere else. I don't know if you've had the same experience.
I think so. And I think for me, and I think for a lot of the people in the space, but very explicitly for me and 1% for the planet, our work is to build a movement. And I think the other people I connect with who are maybe not directly involved in the 1% for the planet community, like in terms of our really specific stakeholder groups, there's still, a strong sense of like, we're all trying to build something bigger than ourselves. We're all trying to work toward something bigger than ourselves. So even if we don't have the 2 degrees of separation, we do have, it does seem like there's that core shared sense that, we're all in this together.
Definitely. And I think even from my personal experience, the connections, like I can connect back in terms of like, the work that we've done so far and who put me in touch with who and how that kind of changed the trajectory of what we've built at Human Group Media. So yeah, resonates with me. Now from connections, we will talk about your kids. And I know that you hang out with them a lot, but what is something your kids have taught you recently?
Man, oh man, they teach me so much on a regular basis. I guess I would say, so my son recently just called me up, and I happened to be in between meetings, and so I was able to pick up the phone, and we just chatted. And this will sound like such a small thing, but it's what comes to mind and matters. He's like, I just wanted to hear your voice and I wanted to say hi.
Aww.
And he's a total sweetheart. They both are. But it just was a reminder to me, because that meant a lot and it felt good. And it was like a day where that just was a lift when I needed it. And so just a reminder of just the little kind of, whether it's a call or just some little lift that you can send out into the world can make such a difference. So it was lovely that he reminded me.
How old is your son?
He's 23.
He's 23. That is so sweet. I hope when my son turns 23 that he would, still give me a call or his dad. But I was listening to an interview and about the relationship of a mom and like her son or her child, and how, you know, you start off as having the role of a producer, like I think literally, and then you become a consultant of some sort. Speaking of something sweet, that is a sweet gesture, actually. What is the most romantic or the sweetest gesture anyone has done for you or you have done for someone else?
Wow. I would say my now husband, who's been my husband for a long time, but he orchestrated really the best first date. We had been friends and had a little bit of rocky, like seeing other people, blah, blah, blah. But finally, like we landed on a first date, and we were at college at that time, and he said, okay, meet me at the train station with your ice skates. And so I did, and we went into New York City, and we saw the lighting of the tree at Rockefeller Center, and we skated and walked all around, and just had, and we're not like, everything we've talked about, clearly like cities are not our sort of main place, but it just felt like, let's go just do something big and special and different. And it was a lovely surprise. And I think he just sort of read who I was and what I needed in that moment. So,
and it's interesting too with like first dates, how you never forget those, and how it can really, I don't know, maybe make or break a relationship or change the course of your life. Thankfully, it did, and you married your husband. And how long have you been married?
We've been married for almost 33 years, and I feel like I should add, because if I were him listening, I'd be like, come on, you can pull something from more recently. Like, that wasn't my only romantic gesture. So I will say, just last week, I was just a little down, like struggling with just some of the world that we have to live in. And it was just like affecting our work in some ways. And he showed up with some beautiful spring tulips for me to put on my desk.
Aww.
So it was really, really sweet, thoughtful gesture. Because I hadn't been, we've all go through hard times. It was, I was going to be fine, but he saw me, and he brought some beauty into my life. So Rob, if you're listening, I appreciate that.
Yeah, shout out to Kate's husband for doing that. What is the most profound or memorable experience you've had in nature? I feel like you have a lot, but if there's something that you can share with us that stands out.
We've lived where we live for about 25 years, coming up on 25 years, and have really very fully lived here. And so I feel like I'm in relationship with the place we live. And so I realized I know within a matter of days when the hermit thrush, which is my favorite bird, and it's the Vermont state bird, and it has like a beautiful sort of flute-like song, I know within a few days, it'll be April 15th to April 18th every year that it will come back and start singing in our woods. And actually this year it was April 20th. And I just love, for me, that's really profound to know a place and be in relationship to a place well enough to have not only know that this bird is going to come back, but to know really almost exactly when it's going to come back. Yeah.
I can't relate to, how accessible nature is to you, Kate, because I live here in New York. Well, we're out on Long Island now, but still, it's not that frequent that I'm close to nature. But I think I would say over 2 years ago, we went back home to the Philippines. I attended my brother-in-law's wedding, and we went to this island called Palawan, and I got to see the Big Lagoon, which is, it was just the most majestic place. And truthfully, when you go to these areas, you are kind of hit with these gorgeous, breathtaking places exist. So I thought that was really special. And I wish, all of us could have access to that, even if it's not, for example, myself flying thousands of miles away.
Yeah.
Now we have come to the end, Kate. I feel like we went outdoors, and I will try this weekend to do something in that vein. But what is your go-to after-hours media, Kate? what have you been watching, reading, or listening to lately?
Yeah, I read a book that like completely opened my mind and I loved it so much. So psyched to share it here, it's called The Light Eaters. Light as in like sunlight light. It's by Zoe Schlanger. And just for me at least, it completely gave me insights I did not have into plant intelligence, plant communication, just how plants work, into what you were saying earlier about like not being able to, we can't always go to the Philippines or to these big wild places because and that of course we love to go to them. But if we're even just in a city to see anything that's growing, now that I've read this book, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing the most amazing thing, because the complexity and specificity of plant like communications and adaptations is just, again, for me, completely blew my mind. And it's a really well-written, really accessible book. I did not feel like I was sitting down to read a hard botany book, and I wouldn't have, like, that wouldn't have kept my attention. This was a super readable, engaging book. And, I was with my husband while I was reading it, and he was like, will you stop interrupting me? Because I kept on saying, oh my gosh, you have to hear this. So it's really, really, I highly recommend it.
I will write that down, and we will, hopefully link it in the episode description, because I love a good book recommendation. And I don't think I've read anything on that subject matter.
Yeah, neither. So, it's all new to me. It was awesome. So good.
I do want to hear if there's anything that you want to share with our listeners, anything big that's coming up for you.
Right now in the world, we need movements to grow that are driving good in the world. So I just would invite everyone, whether you're, just an individual or a company or a nonprofit or some combination of any of those, just check us out online, sign up for our newsletter, become part of our community, because we're making important work happen and we are stronger together.
Thank you for all the work that you do, Kate, and your entire team and your partners and people who are helping you build or continue to build 1% for the planet. Really, your work has been remarkable. And so we're so glad that we could be this platform to share that message.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Kate, for joining me on Impact After Hours.
Thank you so much.